All right, with the NBA playoffs in full swing, I know y'all are out there trying to get your money up, placing your bets, getting your parlays together on your favorite betting app. We love it, and here at Late Night Lake Show, we want to make it easier for you to discuss and share your sports bets, and that is with our new sponsor, Sharps. Look no further than the social network for sports bettors. With Sharp, you can connect with friends, see what they're betting on, and even interact with their bets. The iOS app connects to all major sports books and daily fantasy platforms like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, and Prize Picks, which is already a friend of Late Night Lake Show. Here's the best part. If you download Sharps now and use our promo code, you'll receive access to the community to start showing off your betting chops and an opportunity to compare your bets with us, baby. So what are you waiting for? Download Sharps today and use our promo code and start connecting with other sports bettors. Don't forget to share your winning strategies and interact with other users' bets. Join the social network for sports bettors and take your betting game to the next level. Good luck. Hey, what's going on, y'all? New episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast presented by Prize Picks. It is your host, Ricky and Kwame. We are joining you guys the morning after Lakers Nuggets game 2. The Lakers dropped game 2 to the Denver Nuggets. Unfortunately, they are now down 0-2 in the Western Conference Finals, heading back to LA for a pivotal must-win Game 3 on Saturday. This is going to be a short episode. Kwame and I are just going to give our initial thoughts after wiping the sleep out of our eyes, dreaming about nightmares of last night and another winnable game in the Western Conference Finals. So let's just get into it, man. Obviously, the Lakers, who seemed like they were in control or had a much better grasp on this basketball game than they did in Game 1, looked like a team that was on their way to kind of controlling the game to a victory if you looked at how the first half went. Fortunately, that is how basketball is played, with two halves. And the second half, the Denver Nuggets really started to turn it on. There were runs of 10-0 runs. There were runs where Denver, I think, hit 5 straight three-pointers. There were runs where the Lakers couldn't even make a basket in the middle of Denver hitting 5 straight three-pointers. And then you look up, and Denver's up 3 with 6 minutes to go, and the Lakers never really found that energy or that next gear to push back ahead. I think the first thing that everybody's going to talk about, Kwame, and we could just get to it right off the tippy, is our superstars. LeBron James had some timely errors down the stretch, and Anthony Davis, after a game where he drops 40 and 10, shows up and scores 18 basketball points. I don't know, man. I personally subscribe to the fact that, yeah, it's great that we have a lot of role players that have the opportunity and can step up when we need them most. But at the end of the day, Anthony Davis scoring 18 points, I don't think you're going to win a Western Conference Finals basketball game. What was your biggest takeaway from Game 2, Kwame? And where do you try to find your biggest answers in how the Lakers can make sure that this isn't a 3-0 game after Saturday?
Like you said, the Stars just got to be better. The Stars have to be better. It's the playoffs, man. This is where the Stars shine the brightest. Role players don't carry you through, multiple games in the playoffs. Obviously, they're there to do their part, but the playoffs is where stars are born, where legends are born, where names are made, and that is where the stars rise. And ours haven't done it so great these first 2 games, man. To be honest with you, Anthony Davis couldn't get a shot to fall. I mean, he only had 4 field goals go in. He shot 4 for 15. That is not great. Most of his points came from the free throw line. Not ideal. LeBron, honestly didn't shoot terribly, but 0 for 6 for threes. If you take away his threes, he shot 9 for 13. That's incredible efficiency. But 6 threes and making 0 of them isn't great. I mean, I get it. LeBron, I understand where people come from, where they're like, dog, just take it to the hole. You can get to the hole at will. Dog, driving to the hole is tiring, man. It is not easy, especially when you're getting hack smacked and they're not calling fouls and this, that, the third. It's energy draining. And again, this man is 38 years old. He's in, the 3rd round of the playoffs. Miles on miles, and they're in Denver, with the elated altitude. So I get it. The dude's gassed, But I agree. I don't think settling for jumpers is working. But I mean, again, he makes a couple of those, the conversation's different, but his jumper just hasn't been clicking, and it's hard to see, especially, when we're in moments where we really need a bucket and he just kind of bails the Denver defense out. But I get it, bro. If you're tired, swing the ball, see if Austin or D'Lo or somebody else on the court can try and create. Let's run a play, do something different.
Yeah,
But
let's run a
again,
play.
yeah, but
Imagine that.
maybe that comes down to the coaching staff. But again, I don't want to shoot too much bail for Braun because he wasn't necessarily great in the moments where we needed him to be great. But I understand. I think he's just very fatigued, and I'm going to be honest. It's hard that we had to put this level of responsibility on a 38-year-old. I think we just got to come to terms with he's going to be old at times, and he's going to show us he's old. I mean, he had a couple possessions where he was blowing easy layups, lost the ball in the reverse jam attempt, smoking bunnies. It's uncharacteristic, but again, I just don't. He doesn't have the same lift. He's old. He's dealing with a foot injury. He rolled his ankle like 3 times that game. Braun cannot. I don't think he can be dependent on the way that people have gotten used to depending on him. And I think that's going to be the realization here. And sure, calling somebody washed in year 20, I don't think is, a slight. I mean, come on, dog. I mean, what are we talking about? But, Anthony Davis, he needs to be better. He's lost his matchup twice against Jokic, has not won a matchup against this man yet. And that's going to have to change if we want to win this series. One-on-one defensively, he hasn't necessarily been great against Jokic. We found him good in space, but still, you're watching your other guys kind of get abused then. But I don't know. He's got to be better on both ends. And not, he has 4 blocks. So you look at the stocks and you're like, okay, yeah, he was playing pretty good out there, but he's really got to step it up on the offensive end, and he's got to find a way to neutralize Jokic because that man is absolutely giving us head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and it's not great. As for the rest of the players, I think everybody, kind of did their part. Shout out to Rui and Austin. They did their thing for sure.
Right.
Austin was
2
a little
men
slow
that
to
have
start.
secured their basketball salaries for the future. I pray, and the nation prays they're both in purple and gold for multiple years going forward. But if there's one thing that is guaranteed, is that Austin and Rui are going to make as much money as they expect to make in the coming years.
Yeah, but other guys like Vanderbilt, D'Lo, Schroeder didn't really give us much of anything. D'Lo, especially, he's been awful on the road all playoffs, and Bruce Brown was giving it to him like no other. It's Bruce Brown, and he was talking all types of yip yat, going crazy. Every time he saw D'Lo, he was licking his chops, man. It was absurd, but. The Lakers haven't played well. What we've seen from the last 2 rounds of them, we've yet to see in any of these 2 games. So that's what gives me the confidence. They just got to right the ship. So we got to do what they did, protect home court. We haven't lost the game at home either, same way as Denver. So we're going to have to go out there and do what we have to do. But not encouraging first 2 games, but hey, it's first to 4. We got an opportunity to win 2 at home and make it a best of 3 series, and that's what we're going to have to do.
A couple of things on the points that you touched on, Kwame. First off, LeBron's 3-point shooting. I think this is the worst LeBron has shot from 3 in the playoffs his career.
By a mile. Terrible.
In his career. The worst he shot before that this year was he was shooting 25.7% in the 07-08 playoff run for the Cavs, right? And I mean, he was taking 5.5 threes a game. He's shooting up 6.5 threes a game this year, and he's shooting 23.3%. There's a lot of truth and actually a lot of reality in the point that why LeBron is shooting so many threes. The man is tired, right? Yeah. And it takes a lot less energy to shoot a 3 than it is to drive to the basket. You'll see LeBron get those drives, almost look effortless on some plays on how he could just score on an easy layup coming off of a screen. And then there are some plays where he's clearly getting hacked and the fouls aren't being called. But I think it is just the reality of LeBron does not have 30 drives a game in him anymore. All right. Like, this is what happens when you get older. And my GOAT, number 8, number 24, that was in the purple and gold for 20 years, was not driving to the basket in his later years. He was way more injured, way much more injured than LeBron is right now. But it just goes to show that when the tread starts coming off the tires and the nicks and bruises and the foot injury and being in the playoffs now, playing 14 games under your belt in the playoffs, 15 including the play-in, them legs ain't hitting like they used to. And so I can, call it an excuse, call it a whatever. That, at least to me, is just the reality of LeBron James right now. He has greatness in him still, but it's not going to be for 40 minutes a game, right? You are going to get spurts of greatness, hopefully when you need it most. Unfortunately, I feel like LeBron has to turn on the turbojet sometimes, because when he looks over to his counterpart, he's jagging bunnies. He's missing his floaters. And the day Anthony Davis uses a backboard will the day that I know peace. Like, I have, like, my man is all floaters, all just jumpers, all dunks or nothing. It's like, brother, there's got to be a little bit more polish and refinement to the post game. I know you like to face up. I know you like to do that. I know you like to do that, the hook over your right shoulder. But, bro, these have to drop. And when they don't, Anthony, they're backbreakers. They are absolute backbreakers, because those are the points that Austin didn't attempt, LeBron didn't attempt, Rui didn't attempt. The fucking superstar attempted it, and they're missing, and they're going out. Now, AD just followed up a 40-10 game. But guess what? That doesn't fucking matter in game 2, right? We needed 25 at the very least, AD, and we win this game, right? Like, it doesn't take much more to get over the hump. And while I can look at LeBron missing the dunk and the ball slipping out of his hands some possessions and him getting stripped at the end of the game and be like, wow, that's 6 points right there. Well, fuck, man. The man who was 30 years old and should have the team on his back is dropping 18 points on these shooting percentages. And I'm like, why am I asking the 38-year-old to be doing this? Like, there has to be more that we get out of AD when it's time for these games to really get to crunch time, right? Like, we need these ceiling performances where Anthony Davis owns the fourth quarter, right? And he had a great fourth quarter last game. It wasn't enough because he was the second best player on the court in game 1. Anthony Davis wasn't the second best player on the court in game 2. I don't even know if he was the third best player on the court in game 2. For the first time in a while, Kwam, I think we both can agree that the Lakers do not have the best player in this series. Correct?
It's looking like that.
It's
looking like that.
I think it's a fact. With as much as we hyped up AD round 1, round 2, you look at Joker's round 1, round 2, at the very least, just as impressive. A lot of people would say even more impressive, right? Yeah. And now when you get to these face-up matches, I can live with 40-10 in a loss, because I know you fucking did all you could to try to put the team on your back. I can't live with 18 points, man, in a loss. I just can't do it. We don't have enough firepower in the post to combat Joker's efficiency in scoring the basket down there, man. We don't have the three-point shooters to say, hey, we can rain threes when Murray and Porter Jr., your favorite player on the planet, gets hot, right? The Lakers don't have that. What they have is Anthony Davis, who should still be that unicorn. My brother took 3 threes in the fourth quarter. He made 1, right? LeBron took a handful of threes. They ain't hit shit. Those are not their games. And that's what they're doing in crunch time. And that's how you lose game 2, right? So that's that, man. That's my soapbox on Anthony Davis. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got to talk about the guards. We got to talk about D'Lo and where you stand and where Laker Nation stands as far as what is the best way to get the most out of him in this series. And does that mean potentially bringing him off the bench? Late Night Lake Show. We'll be right back.
The Late Night Lake Show podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best legal way to play daily fantasy player props in states like California, New York, Texas, and more. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. The best part is you can mix players from different sports. You could take the over on LeBron combined with the under on Mahomes in the same entry. Prize Picks is the easiest way to play daily fantasy because it's just you versus the projected numbers. Just use our promo code LNLS, and any deposit you make can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So go support the brand and go win you some money. It's the best of both worlds. Again, use our promo code LNLS.
I'll be honest, you made a good point in there. I think that the big issue we're noticing is LeBron's greatness bursts. We're getting him too early in the game. We're getting him in like second quarters where, he's running the bench unit. He'll rip off like 7 or 8 straight points. And then by the fourth, he's got nothing. And that's why he's jacking threes, because he can't run no more. He's tired. And again, don't want to shoot bail for the multi-million-dollar athlete, specimen extraordinaire. But dog, fatigue is real. Like, hey, I'm no professional athlete, but when I'm tired, I'm not trying to drive to no basket. I'm not trying to have to run around people, bump bodies, try and maneuver, have that focus to lay the ball up. You know how easy it is to just hurl the ball at the rim, just standing there? It's a piece of cake. I can shoot 1 million jump shots instead of doing 1 million drives. I'm sure you've been at basketball practice where you got to do them drills where you got to drive to the hoop. You're not trying to do 50 straight of them. You tired, bro. Just running from the 3-point line to the hoop is tiring, bro.
There's full court drills, Kwam, where they're pretty much outlet passes, right? And you get the ball and you dribble the length of the court. You shoot a layup, you get the ball, and you dribble back to the other side, length of the court, layup. Then you pass it to your teammate, and they do the same damn thing. Do people not remember how gassing that exercise is? And these are professional athletes that have to do it in a much bigger basketball court, right, through 40 minutes of the game. So, I appreciate that. I think, that's life. That's life right now. LeBron ain't got
the reality,
all the turbo boosters revved up and ready to go. He's maybe got 3. And if you use 2 before the fourth quarter,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Late Night Lake Show, Kwame and Ricky. We talked about this. Kwame and I have watched pretty much every playoff game together. Unfortunately, Kwame picked up his first home playoff loss. He was undefeated at the playoffs when we were watching it at his place. For those that are keeping score, I have fallen back down to 500 at Chateau de Barnes. Hopefully, we could turn it around on Saturday when we get together. But one thing that I noticed, man, after game 1 and all of the Nuggets, they chirping, man. First of all, I'm a Mike Brown. I'm a Mike Malone fan, right? I like how he gets down. He's a very active coach. Seems like his players would run through a brick wall for him. He has been just the spicy ramen bowls right now, man. He's got all this shit to talk. You talking about putting stuff in the pipes and smoke it? Crazy. Oh, that's an OG old school saying right there. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Like, he did everything and say, "Whoa there, buddy." Like, but he's got all the right to feel confident as his team is up 2-0. But oh man, D'Angelo Russell is, I think, taking this series a little too personally. Him and Bruce Brown seem to have a little thing going on, right? It seems like anytime that Bruce Brown sees D'Angelo Russell guarding him, he sees a hibachi buffet. And it has been straight drives to the basket every time. And after every bucket, you can tell there's a little bit more, a little longer of a stare, a little bit harder of a flex anytime it's on D'Lo. Even flip it to the other side, D'Angelo Russell, he caught a little fire, right? A small fire, right? A little flame. The candle wax spilled on the table, and you had to dap it up real quick in the second quarter. But then I noticed he was starting to point, look at, talk to, stare down Bruce Brown. And there was one point where they had like a little, stare down competition, and I'm just like, I love y'all, but y'all niggas not that important to be doing some shit like this. Like, D'Angelo Russell, I think, has taken, the Denver Nuggets clearly have singled him out as a player that they are going to pick on this series. And it seems like D'Lo has taken it to heart. I don't know, man. Is your solve for that Kwame, bringing D'Lo off the bench, trying to, maybe get a different look in the starting lineup. And I don't know. I guess what do you make of the Nuggets and their chirpiness, and specifically saying that D'Lo is on their poster?
He is. They've been targeting that man. They have Bruce Brown going at him every time, and Bruce Brown has no fear if he sees D'Angelo Russell in front of him. He's licking his chops and he's ready to go. I mean, but D'Lo these playoffs has not been great outside of maybe like 2 games where he actually looked pretty good. I think it was Game 6 in Memphis, and what was it? It was one of the games in Golden State. I think it might have also been Game 6 or maybe 3. I don't remember. He played pretty good in another one. But against Denver, man, these last 2 games, he has a total of 18 points across 2 games. He's only made 7 shots, and he's a minus 41 combined in both. That to me is just showing when D'Angelo Russell is on the court, he's giving us nothing on either end. And again, maybe because of the pecking order, at this point, he's probably the 4th option on offense. I think we're going, AD, Braun, whichever one, Reeves, and then him on offense in the starting lineup, which, I guess is fair. But he's got to show us something, man, and he hasn't shown us really much of anything. If he's not going on his scoring, cascades, he's really giving us nothing. Missing shots, he's not guarding anybody, and it's tough. And it explains this guy sitting on the bench in 4th quarters. You're a starter, bro. But if you're not producing, you're going to lose your minutes. So I don't know what the solution to D'Angelo Russell is. He was taking shots after game 1 and came out and didn't do anything again. He actually made less field goals this time than he did in game 1. And he was sitting there shooting shots after game 1. So I don't really have a great solution for him, man, but he's going to have to figure it out. I don't know if Darvin's bold enough to pull him out the starting lineup. I know a lot of people are clamoring for just to go with the big lineup and Braun running point, but I don't think Braun has the stamina to run point guard full time. I just don't. This isn't 2020 anymore. It's 3 years removed. I just a ton of injuries piling up. I don't know if he's capable of playing point guard for a full 48-minute basketball game, the lead guard anymore. Again, Austin Reeves still in the lineup. He can assume some of the ball handling duties, but still. So D'Angelo Russell's an interesting character, but man, I don't know what our future looks like with this man. Our present isn't looking too great. We needed him to come through. He necessarily hasn't. And I just need him to be better. And I feel like on the road, he's been terrible. Like every road game, he's been pretty bad. So hopefully getting back to crypto, some juices will revitalize and he'll be alive again and he'll be thriving and he'll give us a solid performance, like a 15-5, 17-5 game. That's really all we need out of him. We don't need a ton. A relatively efficient shooting, like a 45%. We don't need him to be shooting 67%, nothing crazy. Just give me literally 15-5.
Knock some timely 3 down.
Just hit a couple.
Some run extenders or some run stopping 3s. That'd be nice. That's what the Lakers have been missing all this series so far, are the calm the fuck down 3s. Actually, I take that back. Austin Reeves has been that player. And, game 2, bro, he went crossover sidestep with like 18 seconds left in the shot clock and buried one. Yeah. Well, I mean, you were looking at it, you're like, I didn't like that shot, but goddamn, dude, you got to cook. And I think, we didn't want to get up out of here without giving Austin and Rui their flowers. But last thing on D'Angelo is, to your point, the home cooking, right? I expect the Lakers role players to get that home court energy boost, right? If you're going by the on-off splits for AD, Saturday will be an on game as far as offensive performance. Hopefully LeBron sleeping in his own bed, getting a little extra TLC from Savannah, help them legs getting up out the high altitude, right? So I expect Rui and Austin continue to do their thing, but guys like D'Angelo Russell, when they're on the court and being team low minus 15s, like, brother, they're bullying you and you're kind of trying to foul bait on the other end of the floor. There were a few possessions where D'Angelo Russell was twerking for fouls, and it's like, brother, this is the playoffs. When's the last time you heard Austin getting called for one of his and ones, right? Like, they swallow the whistle, and they're not going to do that rip through as much as you think, bro. And then it's all just a wild-ass 3. So, all right, home role players play better at home. That is what we expect. But real quick, man, we touched on him before, boss. But Rui Hachimura, I think, has earned the name of my next child, no matter boy or girl. I feel obligated to name them Rui. I don't know, Kwame. One word to describe Rui Hachimura's Lakers tenure and his playoff performances so far.
Honestly, incredible, man. Just incredible. Like, has he had a bad game? I feel like every time, like he's like the fire extinguisher, like, you know, the break in case of emergency. He's just sitting behind the glass. And then when we need something, we just hit the glass, pull Rui out, and he just solves our problems. He's been great on the offensive end, even defensively. You know what he did, even in the play-in game against Cat, what he's done against Jaren Jackson Jr., what now he's doing against Jokic. Defensively, he's stepping up to the occasion, and then on offense, he's giving buckets on efficient shooting, bro. Last night, he had 21 points on 8 of 10 shooting, man. You can't ask for better production from your bench players. But honestly, the only thing I can want is for him to play a little bit more. To be honest, if anything, that's all I could ask. But he's been great. I've had nothing to complain about Rui. I think he's a fantastic talent. To think that we got him for Kendrick Nunn in 3 second-round picks is an absolute heist. Shout out to Rob Pelinka for pulling that lever. But Rui needs to be a part of this team, this plan, and our offense, whatever. He needs to be a part of it moving forward. And he's been the bright spot. And honestly, I think we need to hit his number a little bit more. When the offense gets a little stagnant, he's a guy who could catch it in that mid-post, make a quick move, and he can score in the mid-range and, you know, even try and, you know, jumpstart our offense a little bit when we get in those lulls where our stars are, you know, slugging up and down the court. So, you know, I think if anything, that's probably the lever to pull. And, you know, Denver's not going to overcommit on Rui. They're not going to send doubles at him in the post up. You know, they're going to kind of just let him work. And I think we need to take a little bit more advantage of that and, you know, make them have to make an adjustment to Rui. If you got to focus on Rui coming down every night, every possession, what do you think that does for LeBron, AD, Austin Reeves? Like, that just opens up their game as well. So again, you know, hey, it's 1st to 4. You know, we lost 2. Denver's halfway, but we got work to do. And we defend, like I said, we defend home court, and I think we will. Then we make it a best of 3 series. So I'm still optimistic. I think this team can really do it, but they're gonna have to dig deep now. You know, they let 2 golden opportunities slip from their hands. You know, a win's a win, a loss is a loss. But, you know, I think there's a lot of encouraging things they need to do, but they just got to clean it up. And I have confidence they will. So, you know, it's all fun and games until the rabbit got the gun. So we're gonna need to get that sucker back.
Facts. Roy, he said post game that, you know, Denver really has no one to protect the rim, and they don't. And you hear that, and you know, Laker fans are getting ready to go outside, you know, open their windows and scream out the window, "Why isn't AD and LeBron James scoring more in the paint then?" Well, I think,
LeBron
at least for Roy's perspective, right? Roy is the mix of youth, power, and touch. He, again, in single coverage with no Denver players really being good post players protecting the rim, is getting one dribble spins to the basket for a layup. Honestly, an up and under dunk where it just looked super easy. Rui is built in that frame where he can overpower people in the post to get a basket, right? The way that he is scoring is very easy for Rui Hachimura. I look around at the rest of the Lakers roster, and yes, you see it throughout the games. LeBron James can easily score in the post. But like we said, you only can tap into those turbo boosters so many times before you run out in the fourth quarter, right? Yeah. Anthony Davis is the guy you're looking at and is like, bro, why the fuck aren't you doing that? I got no excuse for that. I think that's a real point, right? Now, granted, he usually does have Joker guarding him, who isn't the greatest defender in the world. He is a huge human being, right? But AD, I think, is finding himself settling for one dribble, contact, bump, throw it up at the rim, looking for a foul, or the one dribble turnaround floater over his right shoulder that have been coming up short and just been flat out missing. So part of his game, his repertoire, doesn't really lean into the big boy you that Roy is showing on a silver platter every night. So, I mean, Mr. Hachimura is going to continue to eat because Denver just doesn't have an answer for him. And I would love for the Lakers to have other role players that fit that build, but they don't. Jared Vanderbilt doesn't know how to play offense on his own to save his soul, right? He's a tall, lanky dude that's not a great three-point shooter and is not a great finisher at the rim. After those two, you really don't have too many players on that roster that could do what Hachi's doing. So shout out to Roy. Hopefully he continues to inflict his will. But yes, Guam, the series don't start until the home team loses. Yep. And to be honest, the series might start and end on Saturday, right? If this is the case and the Lakers end up dropping game 3. I think we're all realistic about what a 3-0 series deficit means in the long run, right?
Yeah, must win. These next two games are must win.
Both of them. Yep. Both of them. And if let's not act. Phoenix went home, took care of business, right?
Yep.
Denver hasn't shown to be some juggernaut on the road too. We'll see their role players take a step back when Kendall Jenner's in the front row and we got all the celebrities and the crypto.com arena is rocking like it's supposed to on the weekend. We'll see some drop off in their productivity, but this is the season, folks. Saturday is the season. Rejoice in knowing that we are going to get an answer about are the Lakers going to compete for a championship after tomorrow. It's nice. I like having closure, right? Like if it gets to 2-1, we back at it. We back feeling good. I expect an impressive performance from the Lakers on Saturday. So then we can go into Monday feeling really good about ourselves. But if it's 3-0, guys, it's 3-0.
Gonna have to look in the mirror.
And then I'm looking at the man in the mirror, asking him to change his ways. And the only way that's going to happen is some offseason moves after that. So life's always moving forward, guys. So we're going to get our answers whether we like it or not. Hopefully our Lakers can answer the bell and continue their postseason dominance at home. But Kwame, you're on the same page. Lakers, go ahead and tie it up by the time we come back and record. Will we see a 2-2 series or what are you thinking?
We're gonna we better see a 2-2 series. They have no other choice. They are gonna get to go out there and leave everything on the floor the next 2 games. I don't care if they need to be rolled out in stretchers, hooked up to IVs by the end of game 4. They are going to have to do everything in their power to get these 2 games. We talked a big game the first 2 rounds. We played some good opponents. We need to continue, but we got to put it together for 48 minutes. But we can't only play 40 minutes of good basketball. That's basically what we did in game 2. We played 40 minutes of good basketball and kind of wet the bed the last 8. We really need to put together a complete performance. Everybody's got to be on their P's and Q's, from stars, role players, coaching staff, the trainer, the equipment manager, the dude who does the fist bumps before everybody gets on the plane. Everybody needs to be on their P's and Q's for these next 2 games. So I'm expecting big things, but like you said, these game 3 will tell us everything we need to know about this team. Are they going to fight for their lives, or are they going to lay down and get beat? That's what it's going to be. So it's all everything we need to know about the Lakers will come on Saturday. So we'll see. So keep your hands together, pray to the basketball gods, whatever gods you believe in, Zeus, Hercules, whatever one you choose. But yeah, Saturday will be special. Denver knows the situation they're in too, so they're not going to come in and think they got shit sweet either. They're trying to get to the finals, so I expect game 3 to be a bloodbath, but the Lakers got to take it.
For all you parents out there, folks that enjoyed the Mario movie, like Lumini said, when they all in the cages, rejoice. The end is soon approaching. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that we will get our answers soon enough about what the Lakers are really about this 2022-2023 playoff run. So we are not satisfied. I know the team is not either. And we just going to get after it. So appreciate y'all rocking with us on this quick episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. If you're not already, make sure you guys leave us a 5-star review or wherever you're getting your good content. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to us. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We really appreciate that. Make sure you are using all of our affiliate links. Go get your NBA merch from the NBA store. Our link is in the description. And as always, make sure you are tapped in with Prize Picks, as they are always tapped in with us. Promo code LNLS on your first deposit for a 100% bonus match. We will check in with you guys most likely on Tuesday for a podcast. And we praying for the best, y'all. We're going to see. We're going to see. But the Jokers are wild this series. So for Kwame, it's Ricky. Late Night Lake Show. We out.